This is a demonstration video for the SRC4U premium version. The premium version gives you 10 licenses, so you can open up 10 separate screens and work on, of course, the same as before, 10 individuals, 10 groups, 1 individual, and 9 different situations. Again, the sky is the limit for what you do. You just have 10 screens that you can work with on your computer by having the premium version. There are some extra items that are involved here, so I will go over them. In the name, I'm going to once again put myself in here. I have the theme. In this case, I'm going to tonify the body because I like to build myself up as much as possible. But now you'll also notice that there is a group function, and at this particular point you can add people to it or you can add groups. Some of you know that I run groups on a daily basis. I have a Monday group, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc., etc. I'm making this on a Saturday, but I might decide that I want to add my Monday group. So I'll just put my Monday group in there. We have the correction request. I'm going to tell it just do intuitive discernment. I'm not going to pull on the body part because the body, well, I am. I'm going to show it here, and I'm just going to say, in this case, since I want to tonify my body, I just want to build up my life force. I have the find button over here. The find button tells me if I want to tonify the body that I can search and find 1,758 relationships in the matrix that will help to tonify my body. So I'm going to add them, and then I'm going to save and exit. So now they are added. I can also do a suggest corrections. This is going to open up a bunch of different categories with suggested things to work on, and then also some recommended actions. The recommended actions are methodologies, techniques, therapies, and things that Grandmaster David works with during his within his Shun Tao discipline. In this case, the correction is deformities. The recommended action is the Qigong full teardrop, or I should say full teardrop. And what that's going to do is give me the energetic frequency as if Grandmaster David himself was actually doing this therapy. I will receive that energetically. The body part is the middle back on the right side. I would get the recommended action energetically of the Qigong Fireball Posterior Splenic Chakra. And so on and so forth. I can go down. The area is intuitive discernment. The computer is saying, you know what, I'm just going to figure it out once I get into this. The state is painful to touch. The system, the central nervous system, the gland is not applicable. The organ not applicable. Meridians, divergent gallbladder. The acupoint, kidney 13, element wood calming. The defensive action is lying. The emotion is insult. The stress factor, hips. The resistance factor, immunity, and confliction involving immunity. Now I look at all this and go, this is a great little group of things that can be worked on for tonifying the body. I want to save that for future reference. So I'm going to save it as a cocktail. It opens up this little box. I hit yes, and it opens up my folder for cocktails. I will go down here to the file name, and I will type in tonify body. I know what TB stands for. If you need to, you can go ahead and type in the whole thing. Tonify body. That's the cocktail that I'm saving. At a future time when I want to tonify the body, I can actually pull up that cocktail, load it into the correction box, and the computer will look at that as basically a suggestion. This is a grouping of frequency patterns that worked before, but I'm going to take a close look at these and use only those that are appropriated at this point in time, because remember, this is real-time correction, and our body changes on a daily and on a minute and on a second basis. So the computer is constantly looking at things, updating the way it wants to work, and that's why it's called intuitive discernment. The computer will discern exactly what it needs to do and then intuitively pick the recommended action and frequencies to work with. I'm tonifying the body. I want to add another cocktail to this. So I go to my list that I've made up already, and I'm going to, oh, I like the fitness one. So I'll add that because that'll help to tonify the body. And so now at the bottom of all of these things that were put in there, I now have a whole fitness cocktail that was done previously at a separate time. And all of those different things, the computer's going to look at those and only use the ones that are appropriate for me at this time in my life. Now, this is the premium version. We have 13 more drop-down menus. And these drop-down menus give you more opportunities to pick and choose. If you happen to know of particular acupoints on your body that need to work on, you could go ahead and just activate them. Or you can do what I do most of the time. I tell the computer, you pick it. The gland, same story. I'm just going to let the computer pick it. Resistance factor. Well, I know for me that when it comes to tonifying the body, excessive seems to be an issue for me. So I will go ahead and put excessive. And you can see now up in the correction box, these things are being added. The area I want to tonify, I can pick and choose again. And just to show you how this works, I'm going to pick the upper body. So the area upper body is there. Now I'm also going to pick the middle body, and I'm also going to pick the lower body. And so you can, in other words, what I'm trying to show you is that you can pick multiple items from each drop-down menu. I'll do mostly, though, I like to do intuitive discernment and let the computer pick them out. Two of these categories at the current moment do not have an intuitive discernment item. You must pick. If you're going to choose emotion or you're going to choose defense mechanism, you must pick something. Now, I'm always trying to tonify my body, and I never seem to have it in its I never seem to have the tonification I want. So one of the things that I know, the emotion that bothers me, usually when I'm working on stuff like this, is frustration. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. The organ, I'll do again, intuitive, and the stress factor, the same thing. So I now have a whole lot more things in there. I figured that's pretty good. Oh, I have a hint button. Let me just put another hint. And then the hint button gives me an idea of some of the other things that the computer is going to be looking at and working on. Not something you have to hit, but it's there for you if you want to. Now I'll accept the settings. I have another hint button. If I just want to add more, I can do that. Again, it's just a concept of what the computer is going to be working on. It gives me an idea of some of the things involved where I need tonification for my body. The regular scan, I'm just going to hit that right off the bat. That's going to take probably 15 to 20 seconds, maybe a little bit longer. It's going to process about 5 million lines of code. Or I could have chosen the extended scan, which would run about 150 million lines of code through the scan, basically up and down, testing over and over and over again to make sure intuitively the computer is picking the right frequencies to work on. There's two buttons there you can see. Again, suggest and correct. On the right side of the middle of the page here, you have suggest settings. Both buttons do the same thing, except the one on the left will automatically go to correction. The one on the right will just suggest the settings. It won't actually start the correction. You will then need to do the begin correction. Sometimes that's what I do. I just do suggest and correct and walk away. We're almost finished with the scan. And as soon as that's done, I'm going to go ahead and hit suggest settings. And then I'm going to show you an option that I often utilize myself, where I will change some things that the computer is suggesting. And you have that option. You can do it if you want, or you cannot. A lot of the times I just follow whatever the computer suggests. In this case, it's suggesting one 7-minute session. Well, I will go ahead and hit begin correction. It removes about 70 peels of resistance. As you know, every time you hit the correction button, it's going to remove some peels of resistance. But I'm going to make a change here in a moment. I would rather not do one 7-minute session. I would rather do multiple sessions, because I know one of the great features of this program is the scan function. And so once it starts its correction, I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to change the one 7-minute correction to 14 30 seconds. It's the same thing. Instead of one 7-minute, I'm doing 14 half minutes. Now when I hit begin correction. It will remove the peels of resistance, and then it will run for 30 seconds, and that will be session number 1 of 14. At the end of session number 1 of 14, the computer will rescan and check again. What's been done over 30 seconds? What do I need to work on now? Same focusing, but now in this particular instant it realizes I've already done some correction. Why don't I do more? But let me focus more again. It's real-time correction. This is what makes this particular program so accurate, so powerful, and so quick, is because it will scan as many times as it needs to reevaluate what it's already done and modify what it's going to do. That is intuitive discernment. So now it finished that 30 seconds. It is now rescanning. And as soon as it finishes rescanning, it will peel resistance and do the second of 14 sessions. And once it finishes the 14 sessions, it's going to go, all right, you're done for this particular operation. Perhaps we need more. And it will suggest an additional correction, or it will clear out the correction box and you are done. You will also hear a chime, and that is actually the Tibetan healing bell. And that Tibetan healing bell is a final clearing frequency. It is in itself a healing frequency. So it's almost finished the scan, and as soon as that's done, it will remove the peels of resistance and then get itself ready for the second of 14 sessions. Now it's removing the peels, and if you look down here at the bottom, it's finished up with session 1 of 14. It's about ready to start number 2. And now you can see it's working on number 2 of 14. While that's going, you can do the same with the premium you did with the full. You can charge something up. In this case, I know that I'm going to be needing some more energy later, and I did some with my water, but you know what? I'm going to do my clothes. And the clothes that I'm wearing, I want to charge up with more energy, with peace, with calmness. And as you can see, you don't have to type them all out. But I want energy, and I want peace, and I want calm. So I'm going to search. I found 350 items, so I will add them to this box, and now I will go ahead and get them. And you can see they're loading up right now. Once they're loaded, I'm going to charge the clothes I'm wearing. I'm actually going to make this and pull it up to 5 minutes, and I'm going to get a 5-minute charge, and then for the rest of the day and tomorrow and the next day, in fact, if I did wear the same clothes, but it's just going to be today because I actually do change clothes every day. So I'm going to change this to 5 minutes and hit charge, and while I'm watching this other session, my charger function is working. It is charging up my clothes with 350 frequencies for peace, calm, and energy. I'm doing this for myself, but I don't have to work on myself just because I'm working on myself in the box that I opened up. I could be working on somebody else. The charger function is separate. It's also not something that you want to use on people. This is for inanimate objects. This is to charge up a, charge your house with certain energies, charge up your clothes, charge up water, charge up a pendant, charge up a business card. It doesn't matter what you charge, but it's not something that you should use on people because it is a stronger set of frequencies. Once the 14 30-second sessions are done, the computer will tell me whether or not I have more correction that it will suggest I do, at which case I can either hit begin correction and wait for it to finish, or I can go to the auto finish button down here and hit auto finish, and it will go on and on and on. Every time the computer says we need more work, it will just automatically do it. That concludes the demonstration video for the SRC4U Premium.